We have to focus our efforts on North Carolina, the 10th Amendment, and asserting our state's rights. For the past 2 years, the efforts of the Tea Party and the 9/12 groups have been directed at Washington. We lost on the following issues: health care, bank reform, multiple stimulus spending initiatives, automobile bailouts, AIG insurance bailouts, brokerage house bailouts. And I know I left a few out. How does everybody feel about our 2 new Supreme Court justices? Kagan and Sotomayor? How do you like Eric Holder and his handling of the voter intimidation case in Philadelphia? Our Congress does not even have a budget this year. Border security is a disgrace. Our own federal government is filing lawsuits against the state of Arizona for passing legislation to enforce federal law. Does this make any sense? There is zero accountability and these few real responsibilities they are required to do or not. This is why I say we need to start concentrating on North Carolina. Our true unemployment rate is 16.7%. That's the government figures for the real one, which is a U6. I started to watch the State of the Union address last night. I was able to stand for about a half an hour before I turned it off. We all have to understand that platitudes and feelings are not going to save our country. I have a serious question for everybody here. Hopefully you've all had a job in the past or have a job yet. If you do not fulfill your job requirements, did not listen to your supervisors, and only work 3 days a week, plus embezzled money or spent money over your budget with no reasoning, what would happen to you?
Fired.
In the real world.
You have to rely on general welfare.
Yeah.
Whoever he is.
Do you think that politicians work for the American people? I bet right now most of you are thinking, well, the Republicans control the House, so we did fire them. I want to point something out to you. We should take solace in what's happening across the street here and understand that we're going to give our new General Assembly a chance to see if they're going to take the appropriate action. But we have actually a disgrace in this state. Do you realize that every U.S. representative won their primaries in this state? Every one of them. And do you realize that every incumbent U.S. representative won re-election in North Carolina except Bob, who are you, Etheridge? We didn't see the change in this state that other states have seen. A YouTube video, Who Are You, was a difference in an election, and it was still very close. Now, I must admit that I had some reservations about Renee Elmers, but her actions since she's been up in Washington, where she refused to go visit the president, and she's going to use a concealed carry permit, I think she's off to a great start.
Yes.
But we have been given a chance in North Carolina to stand up for the principles outlined by our founding fathers. The Republican Party has now controlled both houses of the General Assembly for the first time since 1898. Does anybody know what happened in 1898? The Wilmington Insurrection. I don't want to really have a whole lot of time. I'd like to go into that, but basically it was an insurrection. The Democrat Party established themselves in the state. They actually overthrew the elected officials in Wilmington, and the federal government did nothing. This and the Battle of Athens, Tennessee, are the only 2 cases of insurrection in our history, and it took over 112 years to rectify. We need to start moving a little bit faster.
Amen.
But I'm here to tell you that this will be an empty victory unless we are vigilant. Now, I went online and did a Google search for vigilant and founding fathers quotes, and I was amazed at how many quotes there were saying that we must be rein and become vigilant. All of our legislators must understand that we are watching them and expect them to do the job for which they are elected and being paid. We expect our new General Assembly to stand up and say, enough is enough. Enough to unconstitutional legislation, enough to government indoctrination centers, formerly known as schools. You know, everybody here knows about the budget problems we've got, and we have Ward 4 and Smart Start, and I've actually written some articles and Carolina Journal has done some great articles on the school lunch programs, and the breakfast programs, and the school dinner programs, and the school snack programs. We can start cutting those, but you know why those have been put into place and upheld? Because a judge in this state has been going through and basically, in his own mind, interpreting our state constitution for educational rights. This Judge Howard Manning is a Republican. One of the things we need to do is get our legislation to amend our constitution through the ballot initiative to define what our educational requirements are so we can stop this judicial activist judge from spending and wasting our money.